Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Thank you so much for joining us for another segment of Health Professional Radio. We'll be speaking with Dr. Dirk Huebner. He's joining us here as Chief Medical Officer at Aptevo Therapeutics, joining us to talk about the company's focus on bringing novel Immuno-Oncology Therapeutics to market. They leverage the innovative ADAPTIR and ADAPTIR-FLEX platform technologies to create therapeutic candidates designed to improve outcomes for cancer patients. Welcome to Health Professional Radio, Dr. Dirk Huebner. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Great. Well, tell us a bit about yourself and your company, Aptevo.
Yeah, so I am a physician working in the pharmaceutical industry already for a little bit more than 25 years. And I have been focused in the field of oncology and immuno-oncology over all those years, and have been involved in the development of clinical assets treating cancer patients for all those years. And right now I am the Chief Medical Officer with Aptevo, which is a little biotech in the Seattle area, or in Seattle, located in Seattle. And we are a specialized platform company that develops bispecific antibodies for immuno-oncology therapeutics or therapies.
Well, what therapies are currently in the clinic?
Yeah, so we have one asset in the clinic that is called Aptevo 436, and that is a compound that is specific to treat AML, acute myeloid leukemia.
What exactly does that compound do?
Yeah, so this is a bispecific antibody from our ADAPTIR platform, which targets CD3 as well as CD123. And CD123 is expressed on leukemic stem cells as well as peripheral blasts, and CD3 is located on T cells. So what this compound does, it basically links together the target cancer cell, the AML blast, with an immune competent cell, the T cell that would be ready to kill the malignant cell at the moment when they are linked together through the antibody, the bispecific T cell engaging antibody that our platform generates, and then killing the target cells through this mechanism of immuno-oncology mechanisms.
Does this compound eliminate specific side effects as opposed to earlier compounds for the same type of treatment?
In our clinical study, we have seen some side effects, which is naturally expected with these kind of compounds. However, our impression at this point in time is, if we compare that to other compounds in this field, is that the side effects are less prominent. We see side effects like cytokine release syndrome in about a little bit less than a quarter of the patient population, and there are other compounds out there with a lot higher numbers in the clinic that this side effect could occur. And we believe that has to do with the fact that we have a conditional activation of T cells only at that time when they link together with the target cell. They're going to release and basically have their efficacy, and efficacy can come with some kind of toxicity as well. Usually we see it mild to moderate in nature, and it's very well manageable in the clinic, and our investigators have been very enthusiastic about the profile in the safety terms, what they have seen so far.
Is that cytokine storm that you mentioned, is that the major obstacle when it comes to the development of these type of compounds?
I think we can say yes, because other side effects, particularly in AML, where we have tested it in the combination with venetoclax and azacitidine, come with toxicity by itself. So sometimes in these clinical studies, it could be very difficult to distinguish, but the cytokine release is a side effect that would be more specific to the immuno-oncology compound in that combination.
As far as improving outcomes for cancer patients with your platforms, are there less than ideal candidates for this type of treatment, or is it pretty much efficacious across the board?
So we are targeting specifically a patient population that is treated with the combination with venetoclax and azacitidine. So this is a combination that is used usually in patients that are either elderly or have comorbidities. So this is about 50% of the patient population with AML. So this is the patient population that we are interested in, as well as in the relapse refractory setting, where it might be used in other populations that could be better in terms of comorbidities, etc. But they failed already prior regimens and now are in need for a new regimen. And we would, in our clinical study, we have enrolled these type of patients and have shown quite impressive response rates. So our response rates are in the range of 80 to 90%, depending on how you count them. So, for example, responses seen as complete responses, and so we say them CRs and CRIs and MLFS. So certain specific response qualities in the setting of AML. So we have rates in the 80% range for this type of population, and that is higher than what you usually would expect for that type of population in the literature, where we see rates in general in the range probably about the 30 to 40% range, and so that's quite interesting and compelling what we have seen in our study so far.
Is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about the company, and then give us a website where our listeners can learn more?
Yeah, sure. So we have another compound in development right now that is very, very early. So this compound is called ALG.APV527, and this is a compound that is a bispecific antibody that targets 4-1BB and 5T4. 5T4 is a fetal oncogene, antigen that is expressed on a lot of solid tumors, while 4-1BB is a co-stimulatory antigen that's expressed on T cells and NK cells. So what this compound does is it links together solid tumor cancer cells with T cells and NK cells, and those immune effector cells would kill the target cell and basically then exert through that mechanism the efficacy. So we are testing this compound right now in a phase 1 study for safety and toxicity, and this is an ongoing study, and it's for Aptevo, the second compound in clinical development at this point.
And a website where our listeners can learn more.
Yeah, so that is Aptevo Therapeutics.com, and of course we provide a lot of different information there, including press releases, as well as our poster that was presented at ASH in December of last year.
And that's Aptevo Therapeutics.com, correct?
Correct.
Great. Dr. Huebner, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much for joining us here on Health Professional Radio.
Thank you so much for having me.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard, in conversation with Dr. Dirk Huebner. Audio copies of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Health Professional Radio.